Hello, sixth grade mathematicians. My name is Ms. Morocco, and today we're going to talk about ratios and proportions. So we're starting Unit 2, Ratios and Proportions, and our Common Core State Standard for this particular topic says understanding the concept of a ratio and use ratio language to describe a ratio relationship between two quantities. For example, the ratio of wings to beaks in the birdhouse at the zoo was 2 to 1 because for every 2 wings there was 1 beak. For every vote candidate A received, candidate C received nearly 3 votes. That language might be a little complicated, a little much for us to think about, but basically students will make observations about ratios and ratio language to make comparisons of data observed from our class population. So when we get to class this week, we are going to be looking at the data within our classroom specifically and writing some ratios to reflect that. But let's do an example. What is a ratio? A ratio is a comparison between two or more quantities within and including a population. So when I say quantities, I'm really talking about numbers, groups of things that I can represent as a number. So if I was looking at my grocery cart, I would probably have a quantity of apples or a quantity of oranges. I would also include the population, so there is a quantity of fruit, right? Apple is a part of the fruit population, as is an orange. A little more literal example here. I have my beautiful cartoon of Mr. Barrington and his students. In his particular classroom, I can see 2 girls and 4 boys. So I can say that the ratio of girls to boys is 2 to 4. Forms of a ratio include a fraction. So I can write that there are girls to boys 2 to 4. I have 2 girls to 4 boys. Or I can also include the population and say boys compared to students. There are 4 boys compared to 6 students. I could also write a ratio using a colon. So there are girls to boys 2 to 4, boys to students 4 to 6. That colon can be read as the word 2, or we can actually use the word 2. So the last way to write ratio is girls to boys are 2 to 4, or boys to students are 4 to 6. Again, I'm just looking at the classroom population and making observations about various groups that can be represented with a number. I can also simplify ratios just like I simplify a fraction. It makes sense that because I can write a ratio as a fraction, I can also simplify it. So in the picture of the classroom, there are 6 girls and 10 boys, and I circled them for you in pink and blue just so that it's easier for you to see. This observation can be written as a ratio of girls to boys, which is 6 to 10. But because 6 and 10 have a common factor of 2, we can divide to simplify. So 6 divided by 2 is 3, 10 divided by 2 is 5. Therefore, the ratio of girls to boys is also equal to 3 to 5. So as much as the actual numbers are 6 to 10, I can also simplify and say that for every 3 girls, there are 5 boys. That's really all we need to talk about to introduce ratios today. Our quick review says ratios help us compare numbers. They can be written as a fraction with a colon or with the word 2, and ratios can be simplified just like fractions can be. Thanks everyone. Don't forget to answer all your quiz questions and rate the video. See you tomorrow.